most people that come here ignorant into the law. But like I said, I took my time to learn the law, learn the penal code, and learn the Constitution, right? So it's another thing. Is so once I start looking at my discovery and seeing that they were staged and stuff, that they took guns from the crime scene, brought them back, and so just a fingerprint that they lifted off the clip of one of the guns and this DNA that's on that weapon, and so it doesn't belong to me. And so I'm telling my lawyer, hey, you got to get that fingerprint and try to get it matched to one of those officers because they tampered with the evidence in my case. Because when I start looking at all the discovery, I look at one picture, it's 6 cells in the room. And then I look at another picture, and it's 9 cells in the room. And so you can see where they staged the crime scene and where they went in my house to Trump went in my house all night long. They were planting evidence, him and his power with, bringing guns from one of the officers' house, bringing it to the power with the vehicle. And any evidence supposed to go straight from the crime scene to be processed, and so, we don't have how many shots, who all fired their weapons, it's a lot of stuff that they're hiding, you know what I'm saying? And so, I want to know who, and, being that this officer just got caught tampering with evidence in the case, tampering with gun evidence in the case, in the Reeves no-knock case, and where do you think he got that from? What he did is he heard those officers most likely bragging about how they tampered with my guns, and when they did that no-knock, then he tried to do it. But the only difference, in my case, they had no checks, no investigation other than their own. They were allowed to investigate themselves, and so they claimed that they had one FBI agent there, they had FBI agents there, but even those reports are incomplete or they're failing to let me see them in full, And so this is the process that people have to go to when the police do that. And so, even if they did have a Texas Rangers investigation, FBI investigation, in a lot of cases, that can't even be trusted. So it's tough. It's tough, man. The system is tough, And so, I asked my attorneys to call those FBI agents and say, they're not coming. Listen, FBI agents come when this is evidence against me, and I've seen them come testify in plenty trials here, but since the evidence is in my favor, then they don't want to come or you don't want to call them. And so, this is important, man, that all the witnesses be called from everybody that was there that night on May 9th. The ambulance driver, the Darnell, when they took the officers to Darnell, where they first took him, and said that it was an accident. And then why did they switch and take him from there to Scott and White and then change it? And so basically what they're telling me is that, they're going to find me guilty and they're going to destroy all evidence in my case. And I won't be surprised. Just think how many cases and people that might have happened. And so the problem is that they don't allow you your discovery, and so, if you don't have a discovery and what they do, and I think I've said this before, they redact information, they take information out. I've seen where they took lines out and they revise them and copy. They had a lot of officers come in and try to change, what they said. The officer said, look, man, I've seen officers get shot left on the front door. There's no way I could shoot that officer. McNown said that, look, I actually the kills on East which is the apartment next door to mine. He said when I came back, I seen Mr. Dibwitty laying on the floor with his head close to the front door and his feet facing me, which is he came in from the Fort Hood area, which would be the apartment next door to me. And then he said he pulled them across the porch. And so they also say in the reports that they were shooting in the interior of the apartment. And so it's tough, man. It's tough, man. So you got to understand a lot of times, bro, these courtrooms, they're not. I mean, the way the whole process. And so that's why you got so many people complaining in the street. Because whenever the police can go out and they can kill you and nothing happens, or they kill you, they go to trial and they get off, the process is just not fair. You know what I'm saying? And so, when you, as a citizen, claim the same thing, that, I made a quick split-second decision based on what I believe was the intruder coming in my house. That falls on deaf ears. You know what I'm saying? And so basically, this is something that shocks the conscience of many people. These officers showed a great indifference for human life when they came to my house, opening fire without a target line sight. It's dark. They drop the flashbang, smoke filled the air, and they just start shooting. That's a violation of policy. Whenever you see a house get shot up like that, same and beyond, these officers be violating policy. People don't know that. That's not policy. It's just open fire. But most of these officers are poorly trained. That's why this no knock is really a federal search warrant. Because federal officers, they're not gun-ho. They're trying to do the operation right. I mean, these officers, they didn't even not have the SWAT vehicle with them that night. They loaded up in their own personal cars and trucks and came to my house. That's a violation of policy. Because their vehicle was to protect them, but they claimed that the vehicle wasn't working that night. But as soon as the incident took place, the vehicle showed up. It's so strange about this, man. When the Killeen Police Department claimed that they called the board once the shooting started, and all of a sudden Bell County turned around and left. That'll never happen. It's a lie. You know what I'm saying? They want to cover up for this Reinhardt guy. And they don't even like Reinhardt. Most officers don't like him. They don't even like him. They don't even like that guy. And I mean, how could you? I can't understand how these officers, man, can even, they give this officer no respect, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that, his wife have a hell of a lawsuit. I would have a lawsuit, because this is a rogue operation. It was rogue. And a lot of those officers, man, it's been 6 years, and they ain't said nothing about it. They ain't broke ranks, they ain't no line, and they killed this officer. And so if Dinwiddie can't trust the process, and these officers claim that he was their guy, their buddy, and he was one of theirs, then why they leave him behind? And so in their mind, they trying to psych themselves out. Like, oh yeah, well, I didn't do it. But and so they use this psych game when they know the bottom line is they shot the man in the crossfire. And so, a lot of people talking about they can't trust the police, but, they really can't trust the guys that, he suited up with every day to speak on his behalf and speak up and speak out, and the public cannot trust the Killeen Police Department. Because even now, those same officers are in that department. Reinhardt's still there. You know, he sent these officers over there. Aubrey Gunn is still there. He created a hate crime, sticking a gun in my mouth, paralyzed me. You know, I got a spinal cord injury because of his actions. You know, and so all those officers fired their weapons. You know, should have been disciplined. You know, and so you know, it's tough, man. You know, it's really tough, man. You know, and so now, you know, I don't know when I'm going to trial. You know, I'm stuck like an animal in a cage. You know, and so that's how they want to protect people like me anyway. You know, that's how these people around here see people like me. You know what I'm saying? You know, they don't even look at you in a jury trial. They look, when they get in the box, they look straight towards the judge. You know what I'm saying? And so it's tough, man. You know, it's tough. You know, I have a better shot, you know, and represent myself for real. So it's tough, man, you know. So it's tough all over the world, though. You know, it's rough, man. You know. So I just, you know, you know, hoping to be a day that these police will be honest, but I don't never think it would be a day like that. And then when you look at it, these officers, when all this stuff is going on, and I'm looking at it, you know, I kind of feel bad that, you know, and all these people are going against the police, but, you know, the police say, well, I don't want to be looked at because all officers are bad officers, right? Well, what do you think people, how people look at it? So, you guys look at all people as drug dealers. And so now, you don't even need a fact or no evidence to come kick my door in. So I'm not safe nowhere. You know, I'm in my house doing nothing committed a crime, but because the officer felt like, he could go get a warrant. And the judge give him this warrant. He did, with no facts. You know, despite what they tell the public. He putting it out in the public, oh, well, this happened, none of that happened. This is just a rogue operation started in 2011 when Lacey Bobbitt, one of the officers, pulled up in my job, and this Reinhardt told me he would give me my day. And that's what this is all about. It had nothing to do with Mosley. It had nothing to do with Mosley. All this with Mosley and all this CI stuff, all this stuff brought into play after to cover for what really happened. The true story. And so, they ride low under the radar, And so, I'm like, yeah, man, it's tough, man, because you can't fight the power to be. Like one of my lawyers told me when he first got me. He said the power to be say that they gonna get you. And so, I had one of the Texas friend Harris tell me, he say, man, basically that down here, you still under rule, you understand, and so to speak, and that trials don't come out fair for people like me. That's one of the detectives told me. So it's tough, man, because you fight people. You think that some of these people will be honorable and do the right thing, but it just ain't like that. So they be picked. All people that live in the ghettos and the low income places and people who sell drugs. I'm not gonna say race because, it don't make no difference. You black, white, Puerto Rican, Mexican, whatever. If you're in a low income area, they call a high crime area, they depict you as somebody who that's possible a drug dealer, so they can ride by and just thinking they mind you a drug dealer and go get a warrant, but that ain't what the law say. Under search and seizures law, under chapter 18, of the criminal code and procedure, You know, it says that a judge has to have facts. So the judge abandoned his judicial role as not to his tax and served as a member of the police. So he was just a police in the case in the road. Yeah, that's true. Like I said, everybody saying they didn't have a warrant. And even this affidavit, you know, if tax right would show that, you know, and even Powell's affidavit, if the tax right would show that, you know, it's a cover up, you know. And so, you know, like I say, why don't they treat people like they want to be treated? You know, this like I said, this officer blew this man's brains out, Michael Dean. He was across the hall from me for a couple of days. He's in the cell about to hang himself. Couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? And I looked at that. I said, look at this man. I've been here 6 years. And I ain't shot nobody. I ain't killed nobody. It's in my apartment. You know, they came and rushed me out like Mississippi burned. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, injured me and broke my lady ribs when she used the restroom on herself, slammed her face into the ground. You know, it's just bad, man. You know, so of course they don't want to have to get out. Gag order, you know what I'm saying? Killeen Herald called the DA's office and got like a gag order put on my case because one of the reporters wanted to put the story out, you know. You know, and so the media control the mind of the masses. So whenever the media is saying something, people tend to believe that being true, and that's power. So the media has the power to convict the innocent and then let the guilty walk free. You know, so, you know, it's tough, man, you know. And then you look at Henry McGee case, he shot a police, and his case was just like mine. But in my case, I just don't believe their story. I don't believe their story, man, you know. And if that was the case, you know, I mean, you know, I mean, you know, it wasn't intentionally, but at the same time, man, you know, I mean, these type of warrants are dangerous, man. They're too dangerous to be even operated, you know, because when the police come to your house and refuse to announce themselves and they go back, they always claim that they did, you know, and so you know, you just can't trust. I can't, you know, trust the police. You know, I can't, you know, and I never had a reason not to trust the police, but everybody trusts the police until it happens to them. You know, until the police can understand and lie, you know, on you. You know, get you 100 in death sentence and go home and just drink a cup of coffee like it's another day in the office. So, you know, I mean, I don't trust the police. I can't. And so every time you have people rising up in the street, it's just not the police. It's the whole process. You know, it's the June police unions, the district attorney's office, the grand juries, the juries, all that process, man, you know, it eliminates people of your peers. I think in Texas you have to own a house to be a jury.
You have 1 minute left.
So, you know, it's tough, but, you know, I'm still here, man, you know.